Palworld is back, and not in the quiet, nice patch kind of way. Version 1.0 launched on July 10th, 2026, and the game surged to a reported 961,867 concurrent players on Steam during its second weekend. That is a massive return for a game many people had written off as an early access lightning strike. But huge numbers are not the same as a great full release. So today, we are cutting through the hype. What actually changed, what still feels familiar, and whether Palworld 1.0 is finally worth playing in 2026. PCGamer.com, https www.pcgamer.com.games. Survival crafting Palworld is only growing more powerful, hitting nearly 1 million concurrents in its second weekend. First, this is the official full release. Palworld is no longer labeled Early Access. That matters because 1.0 is not built around one flashy feature. It is a giant collection of new content, system changes, balance work, optimization, and quality of life upgrades. Pocket Pair says the update introduces a new sky region called Sunreach, pushes the game's central world tree mystery forward, raises the level cap to 80, and adds 72 pals, bringing the roster to 287. That is the kind of launch package returning players were waiting for. SteamCommunity.com, https SteamCommunity.com, apps 16.23730. The biggest content addition is not just a bigger checklist. Sunreach is a new group of islands floating above Palpagos, with its own civilization, tower bosses, new pals, and special ores. Then there is the World Tree, positioned as the destination for the game's largest challenge and a key piece of Palworld's story. That gives the game a much clearer sense of direction than the old keep catching, keep crafting, keep grinding loop. It does not suddenly become a story-first RPG, but there is now a stronger reason to push beyond your next base upgrade. SteamDB.info, https /steamdb.info, patch notes 2408745. 72 new pals sounds like the headline, and it is a big one. But the more important change is how your team develops. Version 1.0 adds Awakening and Mutation, new systems designed to further strengthen pals. Existing pals also received rebalanced stats, abilities, and new active skills. Pocket Pair says, party pals can now deal damage equal to or greater than the player after the broader damage rebalance. In other words, your creature team is meant to feel more central in combat, instead of just acting like a collection of utility tools with cute faces. SteamCommunity.com, https steamcommunity.com, ahap 1-3730. This is where 1.0 may matter most for people who bounced early. Palworld has adjusted capture bonus requirements from 12 catches down to 5, which should make progression less repetitive. It also revises breeding combinations, technology unlocks, crafting experience, item costs, fishing rewards, legendary blueprint drops, and ammunition yields. Even PAL's sphere crafting has been simplified, removing wood and stone from the recipe in favor of a paldium fragment. These are not glamorous trailer moments, but they are exactly the types of changes that can make a survival game feel less like work and more like momentum. SteamCommunity.com, https steamcommunity.com, app 16.23730. Your base is still Palworld's heartbeat. You gather, craft, automate, defend, and turn a patch of land into an industrial creature-powered operation. But version 1.0 puts more effort into making that loop easier to manage. The update adds new building parts, better storage and crafting interactions, a retrieve all button for base pals, improved pal box search and sorting, and more ways to see what is happening across your settlement. There is even a negotiator who can cancel an upcoming raid for gold. So yes, the base management fantasy is still here. It is just less determined to fight your interface. SteamCommunity.com, https steamcommunity.com.app/162370. If you are playing with friends, Palworld 1.0 has some of its strongest improvements waiting for you. Dedicated servers can now enable in-game voice chat. Guilds have added roles and permissions. Server joining, passwords, address input, chat history, shared base security, and stability all received upgrades. Discord linking is also available on Steam and Mac to make inviting friends easier. That does not guarantee every server will run flawlessly. No large survival sandbox can promise that. But Pocket Pair clearly targeted the friction points that can turn a fun co-op night into an admin nightmare. steamcommunity.com, https:// steamcommunity.com.app/162370. Visually, 1.0 is a major brush-up, rather than a total art style replacement. Pocket Pair says it revised water materials, coastlines, lighting, environmental rendering, shadows, foliage draw distance, waterfalls, and post-processing across the world. That should make exploration feel more atmospheric, especially if your memory of Palworld is the rougher early access build. But keep expectations realistic. This is still Palworld's recognizable, colorful survival world, not a ground-up remake built to chase the most expensive games on the market. The win is stronger mood, clearer environments, and a more polished sense of place. steamcommunity.com, https://steamcommunity.com.app/162370. Now for the part that a real verdict cannot skip. Palworld 1.0 is much more polished, but it is not magically free of launch issues. The release changelog contains a long optimization and bug fix section covering dedicated servers, stuttering, memory processing, multiplayer synchronization, crashes, terrain problems, and progression blockers. 4 days after launch, version 1.0.1 also fixed an issue where save data could be unintentionally discarded after certain operations. That is why the sensible move is simple. Update the game, back up your saves, and be extra careful if you are returning with old mods installed. steamcommunity.com, https://steamcommunity.com, /162370. Palworld 1.0 is absolutely worth a look if you love creature collection, but always wish those creatures could build, fight, farm, travel, and become part of a bigger survival sandbox. It is especially easy to recommend for friend groups. The core loop of exploring, catching a useful new pal, unlocking a better tool, and watching your base get more efficient is still ridiculously good at creating 1 more hour sessions. And Xbox players can access the full release through Game Pass across cloud, console, and PC, which lowers the barrier to trying it with your crew. News.xbox.com, https://news.xbox.com, ENUs 2026-07-07 Xbox Game Pass, July 2026, Wave 1 for 3.7.1. But Palworld 1.0 is not a universal recommendation. If survival crafting makes you sigh the moment you see trees, ore, hunger bars, recipes, and base chores, the full release will not convert you. If you want a tightly scripted campaign, deep character acting, or combat with the precision of a dedicated action game, this is still not that. And while the new World Tree content gives the journey more shape, the game's identity remains open-world survival first. Version 1.0 makes that identity far better organized. It does not abandon it. So, is Palworld 1.0 finally worth playing? Yes, with the right expectations. This is not a perfect reinvention, and it still has the messy edges that come with a huge sandbox survival game. But it is no longer just a viral early access curiosity. It is a much fuller package with a real endgame destination, a bigger roster, smarter progression, stronger co-op tools, better visuals, and an enormous player comeback behind it. New player? Start now. Returning player? Start fresh, if you want the cleanest experience. And if you have Game Pass, there is very little reason not to find out whether Palworld's weird survival magic clicks for you. What is your verdict on 1.0? Let King Fresh content know in the comments and subscribe for more gaming news that gets past the hype.